going to be talking about some mistakes that you are probably making right now in your Wuthering Waves accounts. These are going to be mistakes that I learned from communicating with the community, speaking with other people that play Wuthering Waves that are better than me. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I was just farming around in the overworld, playing my Brant team, and I dropped a Brant anchor. It did 300k damage, and I thought, wait, when did this happen? And it happened because I listened to advice from veteran players when they were telling me stuff what to do, and I was like, okay, wait, I literally was level 16, and now I'm UL 57, and a lot of the videos are actually going to be talking about things that you should be doing differently from what I did, because I did a lot of things that were kind of bad, and you'll kind of see why.
Now explain like the things that were bad and how I learned from them and what you should do differently.
The absolute most grass is green advice you can be given from anyone in a gacha game is not to waste resources, especially farming resources. We're going to talk about wave plates. Wave plates are the most important resource in the entire game, without a doubt. You use wave plates to farm for pretty much everything. There are ways to farm for, like, for example, echoes or whatnot without wave plates just by farming them on the map, but the fastest way to farm for them is by doing tacit fields and whatnot, and that's how you get tuning materials as well. So, if you look at my wave plates, I'm kind of pretty much out of wave plates. And this is something that I would say you probably shouldn't do. So, when I was starting, I got a little excited by certain characters when I got them, right? When I was leveling up my Brant team, I got really excited. Because I was like, okay, well, I have Brant Lupa. I hear they're pretty good. I've seen some YouTube videos. Some people in the comment section are actually telling me they're really good too. So, I'm kind of like, I want to put my resources into them. And here's why you should be really careful with that. For one, you might just not like the character later on, but for two, mainly for the sake of not breaking your account. Breaking your account, if you don't know, pretty much means when you make your account lose so many resources or have so many like net losses in comparison to gains, to the point where the account can't properly keep up with new content, right? And it slows your account down by a lot, and a lot of people, especially in gacha games, want to pretty much just give up and reset their accounts, right? Not me though. I would never give up. If my account was bricked, I would forge the brick, rearrange its atoms, and turn it into gold, But in case you don't want to have to do that, don't waste your resources. So wave plates are going to be the most important resource not to waste. As I showed you here a moment ago, my wave plate count a little bit low, and we're going to tie this into our second point here, which is don't build wrong. Now, don't build wrong kind of matters more later in the game, and it also ties into wasting wave plates. So let's say you have a character and you want them to be built and you don't know what set to use. Look it up on YouTube. There's absolutely no harm in it. Most of my characters I looked up on YouTube, or I talked to people in the comment sections of videos, for example, or the wuwa community, trying to ask them, like, how do I build it, right? There's no need in trying to ego it, right? It's fun to build stuff a little bit, like, on your own. You can kind of put two and two together, like, hey, maybe this fusion set is going to be good on this character. But, for example, Brant uses Tide Breaking Courage on the release, at least. Now, I did a little bit more research and found out, due to me especially not having a signature weapon, and other just time passing and whatnot, that the better set for me would have been to go for the Molten Rift, specifically with the Nightmare Inferno Rider, right? And you want to make sure that you're using your wave plates as properly as possible, especially your solvents, crystal solvents, because when I was farming for this, I used some crystal solvents, right? A decent bit of them. It would be really tragic if I got really bad sets that didn't work with this character. Thankfully, I did my research, got the right set, and then also got really lucky here. For example, to look at some of these pieces, right? Some of these pieces are like a little cracked. This is a 4 out of 5 piece. These are kind of like 3 out of 5s. They're okay. They're fine. This piece is really strong. This piece is pretty decent. High road on crit damage on some of them. You want to make sure that you avoid getting into a situation where you're wasting resources early in the game. For example, if we can go back to our first point where we're talking about wasting resources in general, asteroids are also a resource, right? So you can farm asteroids from different type of events. There's so many ways to get them, but you want to be careful with how you're using them, especially if your summons early on in the game. You're able to choose a 5-star unit, for example, early in the game. I chose Calchero. I did. Whatever. He looks freaking cool. Guess what? He doesn't do cool damage. Or rather, he does, but it just requires you to get like an aneurysm to do it. When you're starting out the game, some of the best characters you can get, which I've been told, are Verena and Encore. Verena is more valuable than Encore because Verena pretty much serves as a healer, right? So Verena she's really flexible, requires really low investment. You can just pop Verena. What I've been doing is I just give Verena like a random set, like a random freaking rejuvenating glow set with the turtle. Pop. These are all level 1 echoes. That one's level 10 because I just messed around with it a little bit. You just throw her, give her a variation or something, toss her onto whatever team. I use her on my Jinchi team, no investment, and it does pretty well, right? It does pretty good damage. Allowed me to do a decent bit of TOA. The most important thing that you'll hear from people is farm your main damage dealers, right? So everyone says for like TOA and stuff, you need to have at least two main damage dealers. I'm kind of leaning, so the way it seems to me, somebody can correct me on this, is that you don't need two strong teams for TOA. You need like 2.5 to 3 strong teams for TOA. At least it seems like it. Now I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it will be better if you had 2.5 to 3 teams. Don't look at these stats on this gen sheet, by the way. I cooked her. It doesn't even matter. This is exactly why you don't want to break your account. When it comes to artifact farming, just don't be scared to look up a YouTube tutorial. They can help you out, and there's also tons of people that know more than you. The only reason my account got so decent, at least in such a short amount of time, is because of people telling me what to do and helping me out with figuring out what to do. And I did my own research as well, and that's how I got like at least one pretty strong team. Right? This would be my pretty strong team. Not quite perfect, but you know it does damage, right? The third tip is going to be don't invest in alto. Third one is going to actually be kind of a weird one, right? So resources are like the most important thing, but I really do think that you should actually try to not skip the main story and like enjoy it a bit. A lot of people play these games. I was speaking with one of my good friends, and he was saying that he just can't bring himself to enjoy the story in gacha games. He never plays it, but that's a really weird thing. I feel like I heard from him because he likes other games that are story driven, and I feel like when people think of a gacha game, he said to me the reason why he doesn't enjoy it is because he just prefers to farm for the material, for example, astrites, and that's all he cares about. And I feel like people, and this is a person who doesn't play gacha games, right? So I feel like there's like this stigma where like gacha games like stories are actually really bad when they're really not. I mean, Wuthering Waves story is actually pretty good. It's really fun. I like interactive stories. The things that happen, like there'll be different interactions where if you answer a certain way, it can change like little interactions, little Easter eggs, and it's just a lot more interactive. And it's going to be a very long story. I'm not saying don't skip side quests. I've been skipping side quests to certain ones, like when we're freaking going to cook eggs for someone, I'm probably gonna skip that side quest. But when we're talking about like the main story quests, I think you're fine to be entertained. You don't have to feel like you're wasting your time. Once again, it's not a race. A lot of people feel like they play these games. It seems like a lot of people play the game thinking it's a race and they have to be as strong as possible, as fast as possible. When really that's literally not. It's a video game. Have fun. Like play to have fun. And this kind of ties into where I want to kind of talk like one last time, go back to the first part where I talked about don't waste resources, specifically Astrite. And don't worry too much, I'd say, about what character is hard meta, right? Realistically, at least it seems to me that if you sometimes just like a character, even if they don't fit on any particular team, that can be fine for you to just go for them, right? Um, Most of the limited 5-star characters seem to be really viable. Of course, in certain events like Whimpering Waste versus TOA, some perform better in certain teams, and characters with a certain team perform night and day better sometimes. Some characters are good on any team, like Shorekeeper's good on any team, throw her anywhere, and she's like a top tier performer. Um, for what she does. And then there's other characters like Lupa, where Lupa's kind of good mainly on like a mono fusion team. I don't really know if she's very good elsewhere, but she's very strong on that team. And if your favorite character is Lupa, of course you might want to have Brant and a fusion character like Chixia or Chisha, or I guess the best in slot one would be oh man, gonna get mad at me for this one. I don't remember her name, but you know who. Fire Yamiko. But yeah, so mainly you just want to avoid those couple of mistakes. And with the new version, with the new version coming out, I figured I'd make something talking about this, right? New version's coming out, looks really freaking sick. I want Galbrina. I don't even care if she fits on my team. That's me doing the thing that I'm going to tell you not to do later.